Cool.
Good afternoon. My name is Erilyn Brown, and I am here to teach computer science education. Topic for today is C++ tutorial. Today we're going to learn more about how to program in C++. The topic is also Hello World. Today my students here is Lloydika, Bobby, Shakira, Amber, and Amani. What we're going to start with is showing this is a handout that you're going to be using. Please adhere. This box is for you to take notes. Once you take notes in this box, please add it to your computer file. Next, we're going to have some definitions that you're going to be using, which this is also going to be a part of your study plan. And the final, before we leave, we'll take a short quiz on what you learned today. What we're going to do is, first and foremost, we're going to understand the symbols and signs that we'll be using for this computer science course. Now, with the Hello World, it's pretty easy. Most of you might find it confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. If you need help with anything, I'm here to assist you. Remember, please do not turn around to face the camera. You'll just work and raise your hand as needed. Now, what we're going to start doing is, I need you to go to the browser, the web browser, which will be Google Chrome. Okay, so in that, go to Google Chrome. Once you're there, go ahead and type in your browser http:// www.cnet.com/contract. Okay, instead it looks like you're having difficulty. Why don't we just go to www.google.com and search through that browser. Search engine rather. Once you go to Google, go ahead and type in CNET space. We're going to also type in what we're looking for, which is, what are we looking for?
Dev C++.
Exactly. Dev C++ is the compiler that we'll be using today. We have to download it onto our system before we can do anything. Go ahead. Once you click click on the
This one?
yes. Remember not to try and give the computer too many commands. Sometimes if we have a lot of people on the system, it'll tend to move sort of slow, but just wait it out. It'll go through. Now, once you should all be on this screen. Once you get here, go ahead and click download. Now, what I want you to understand is, a compiler like this is free. Not all of them are usually free, but we're fortunate to have this one, which is a freeware, a free download for us to use today. Once you click download, wait.
It's
And
finished.
2016.
okay, if it's finished, go down to where you see the Dev C++ and click.
Mm-hmm. What do I do?
Okay, go ahead and select yes. Okay, it's telling us to please wait. Just go ahead and wait.
Okay. And please select a language.
Okay, the language, of course, all of us speak English. You'll go ahead and select English. Then you would agree to the license that you're able to download and put this on this PC. Click Next. Okay, install. Okay, so while we're waiting for it to be installed, I want, how many of you can remember what are you using currently? What is this called? Is it called the program? Is it called the compiler? What exactly are we using right now? What are we downloading?
A compiler.
A compiler. In a previous class, we had discussed something else, which I just mentioned the name as well. And what is another name that you can relate to when you're downloading?
Software.
Ah, exactly. Very good. Okay. So anyway, today while we're going on, I want you to pay attention to what is going on here. This will all, maybe it's confusing for now, but it'll all make sense in just a few moments. You're gonna take notes of all of what you see while you're waiting to download. As a matter of fact, you can go ahead and start writing your notes as to what you're gonna have to do with your downloads.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, take your notes while we're waiting. By the way, this is telling us how much more time it's going to take, which is moving pretty fast on a normal basis. It's a little faster, but this is fine. It'll get there pretty soon. What I wanted to also discuss with you, I wanted to tell you the definition of C++. C++ is a powerful general purpose programming language. It can be used to create small programs or large programs. But today we're going to just create something very basic, very small, so you can get comfortable with what we're going to be doing later on in this class. Okay, here we're at this point where you click Finish. Excellent. Okay, here, this is the screen that shows us the way the system looks once it's down. This is the original screen. So what we're going to do is create this program called Hello World. What you're going to do first is click File, go to New, move over to Source, click Source File. Okay, this is the way we're going to begin. Before we do that, I wanted you to understand some of the symbols that you'll be using. You're familiar with most of it, which is called the number symbol. Most of you guys, I know you're familiar with the hashtag sign because some of you deals with Twitter and all those social networking sites. But this sign is for something different today. Okay, this number sign, which is include a preprocessor. Let me explain what that does for you. Okay, a preprocessor directive, it tells the compiler to put codes from the header file iostream.h into our program. By including our header files, you can gain access to many different functions. For example, the count function requires iostream.h. So what we're going to do is get familiar with another symbol before we move on to putting in the Hello World symbol. Now, int, which is main, bracket, colon, this line tells the compiler that there is a function named main and that the function returns an integer hence INT. Okay, next we're going to discuss the braces. Never forget the braces, because no matter what you do, all of these will make sense at the very end of your assignment. The braces has its own function, which if they're missing, you'll get an error message, which you will learn later on how to debug your error messages. But for now, what we're going to do is explain that the braces signal the beginning and the end of the functions and other code blocks. Next is the insertion operations, which some of you might call it the arrow, or
These look like less than signs.
it does, right? You're right, absolutely. But you can use it as the greater than, less than signs, which you're familiar with. You can familiarize yourself using it in the same terms over in the computer. Only the signs. We're not doing greater than, less than yet, but we're actually using the symbols. I know you know the meaning. Let's not get there, but we'll continue as the greater less than sign just to go on with our programming. So now, those symbols are known as the insertion operation. The quotes tell the compiler that you want to output the literal strings as is. So when all of these symbols come together, we'll be able to run the program. Now, how many of you understand what we're doing so far? Is there any questions? Do you need help with anything so far? Everyone seems to be on the same page, and we're moving forward. If you have any questions, feel free before we get into the next step, which is going to put in the program that we're going to run. Does anyone remember what I said the topic was for the program that we're going to run?
Hello world.
Awesome. Hello world is our topic that we're going to run. Great job. Okay, so now let's take a brief moment, get familiar with the screen. I want you to look at all of you could use the drop down boxes to search, look and see what goes on in them. Just, just briefly, so that once I say, well, go to this, you'll be able to just jump right in and go to it. Most of you probably already know, because some of it is familiar from the Word document that we previously learned, some months ago. But in actuality, there are stuff added to these programming tools. Okay, so I'm going to test your knowledge on taking notes and how well you're able to put in a code from listening. You're going to have to be very good listeners. I started to write it down for you, but I said, you know what? Let me give you guys a try and see how well you can do by me reading it and you're listening, entering it as I say. Okay, on that line, the first line, you're going to put the number key, which is the same as the hashtag that I told you about. Then include.
Space or no space?
No space. Then use space. Then you're going to put the greater than sign, which is the mouth is open.
2 popped up.
Okay, 2 popped up. That's fine. That's pretty okay. You're going to just type in what I just told you. IOSTREAM period H. And remember, they're all lowercase letters. And hit enter. Then in the next line, you're going to say INT space. Keep in mind all lowercase letters. Main, MAIN, open close bracket. Enter. The next line, we're going to do the brace. Okay, you have 2 popped up. Okay, just go ahead and hit enter. Okay, we're going to type in that line, which is line 4. Everyone should be typing in line 4. Now, When you go to line 4, you're going to put count, which is C-O-U-T, lowercase again. Okay, the greater than sign where the mouth is open, you're going to double, put 2 of those. Open quotation. Type hello space world. Exclamation mark. Close quotation. Semicolon. Okay, great. Everyone is on par. Very good. That's what I like to see. Now hit enter. Return. R-E-T-U-R-N. 0. Semicolon. Okay, great. Now, does anyone realize that there were codes from the beginning to the end? Most of the time you won't realize what you're typing if someone is just feeding you the information. Later on you'll learn that you have to learn to code from beginning to the end. You follow complete instructions. If you did anything different from what I told you, you might perhaps get an error. Very good. Good job. Take your notes. Go ahead, take notes. Once you're done taking notes, I want you to go ahead to the execute word that's up here on the top by the tools. Hit execute, go down. What do you think will be the next thing you do when you get there?
Compile.
Compile. So compile, you think it's going to compile or should we hit run? Which one you think might?
Run.
Run. Oh, very good. Let's try running the program and see if it's... Okay, so now you came to this point where it says source file is not compiled. Compile now? Yes. Okay, at this point, you're able to save the program that you just typed. Now you can choose a name. The name is Hello World. You can say Hello World Deco, Hello World. It's up to you if you want to save the file under something that we can remember that it's your file. So what you're going to do once you type it in here, you're going to hit save.
It's giving me an error.
Okay, so now you have an error. So we're going to have to find out what went wrong with your error. So now let's compare and see if all of everything that you typed was in there. Okay, so we're looking at, we're comparing what just happened. Okay, now that we figured this is what an error looks like, we're going to go back in, correct the error. What we're going to do is right here at the end of the line where you have an error, what I want you to do there is take off .h. Okay, at the end of that line, press enter. On that next line, you're going to, after the end of the, after you press the enter, okay, great. Now what you're going to type is INT.
It's on the, okay,
Okay, so in this line, which is line 2, everyone should be at line 2, you're going to type in using space, just not type space, just make a space.
Okay.
Then you're going to type the word namespace.
Name and then
Name space together is one word. Namespace. And space again. Just create a space, not actual, the word space. Then STD, semicolon. Okay, once you do that, go back to execute.
Okay.
Once you get to execute, you're going to compile and run. Let's see. Hello. Very good. Hello World. This is how we get to run a program that's called Hello World. Is there any questions so far for the Hello World program? Was that hard or was it easy?
It was hard.
It was hard. Okay, we're gonna do more practices on it. We're gonna go through some more techniques on how there are easier ways. So what we'll do next is go ahead and redo another program. But before we get to that point, I'm going to give you a few questions that you need to go over and answer to familiarize what you were just doing. So this is a short quiz. You're going to hand it to me as you walk out the door. There's no need to rush because we still have about 10 to 15 minutes left before class is over. So you're going to go ahead, get your quiz done, and then you can hand it to me at the end. Now, if there's any questions before you start the quiz, you take one and pass it on to the other students, and then we'll move forward from there. Thank you very much.